One of Minecraft's most famous servers has tragically just died. This is something that happened earlier in the week for Mineplex Java. Their server just went down without any explanation, and then just yesterday, the number of featured servers in Minecraft Bedrock went from 8 to 7, notably lacking Mineplex Bedrock. This is a real tragedy that was only just explained today in a really passive-aggressive way that kind of explains the sad management behind the server. This is very sad for many who had fond memories from what used to be Minecraft's biggest server, especially on YouTube, but let's go back in time to 2017 for this gameplay from Mineplex Bedrock just after the beta together update, which was my first time really heavily playing it, and let's go into exactly what happened, because today I should be talking about the new pre-release for 1.20, but Mineplex had to go and ruin their own server, and so we're going to dive into that instead. By the way, hello, I'm Toycat, and I hope you choose to subscribe if you like staying up to date with the latest Minecraft news, and we really have to talk about Mineplex because of how it relates to Minecraft, the base game. Basically, everything to do with their rise and fall actually ties into something, to do with Mojang in necessarily good and bad ways, and if you want to stay up to date with the latest goings on with Minecraft, you can subscribe to the channel. There is a big update coming out soon that we don't talk about today because we're talking about what used to be the biggest server of all time. Here's a handy graph to really show how it used to be the biggest before this sudden downfall in about mid-2015 that has resulted in their current player base, or I guess former player base, being just a few hundred players at the time of their collapse. This is crazy to see a 99% collapse in the player base for Java, and although pinning it all on this would be a little beyond reason, it is worth saying this is roughly the time they launched their Mineplex PE and later Mineplex Bedrock server, because there were obviously a lot more Bedrock players and it was seen as the future of Minecraft servers. Although many years later that still hasn't fully materialized, this was something that Mineplex's focus mostly was on from that point forwards, so using this player count isn't perfectly accurate, but the same thing has happened on Bedrock, just to a much lesser extent. It had a huge rise that ended up with it having over 10,000 players. I mean, even in 2017, before the peak of that, you can see how at the very start of this video here, 6,437 players online to just a couple thousand at the very end. This is something everyone is keen to point out they know the reason for. If you search up Mineplex Dead, you'll find videos from the last couple of years of basically people predicting this same thing because of lack of support for mini games and lack of real innovation and lack of YouTuber deals. People will blame it on all sorts of different things, but the long story short is they didn't keep up with the time. Other servers are modernizing and creating new game modes and making new fun ways to do stuff, and Mineplex is trading on the same name they've had for over a decade and hoping that's enough to draw people in, and for a while it sort of worked. However, this severe decline in the server is presumably what caused the owners to go into their full abandon mode, because when Mineplex went down on the Java and then later with the website, there is now just a 404 Cloudflare error when you go on the website, and now on the Bedrock side, there was a full 24 hours where no one genuinely knew what happened. In fact, right now, the only explanation we have is from a mod on the server who explains how, as you're all aware, all servers and the website have been down for a couple of days now. Unfortunately, I have been given the burden of informing you this will be forever. I shouldn't need to be the one to tell you this, I shouldn't have to, but in the end, you all deserve to know it's over, and I suppose I'll need to be the one to do it. I wish there was more to say, I wish the things would have gone differently, and we all could have had time to say a proper goodbye to it, give it a proper send-off, and I'm sorry that it went the way it did. You guys are passionate about the server, and it's inspired me to want to do better, though I didn't have the opportunity to do so. To cut through that messaging for you, this is someone saying, man, I shouldn't be the one who have to do this, but apparently the person actually in charge has abdicated that responsibility, and so it's my job to say, yeah, apparently the server's down, sorry, it's not my fault, but apparently I'm responsible, which really sucks for them. But then they go on to say, I'll end this off by saying that I'll be giving the NPD to Toki, who'll turn into a sort of a memorial, at least for the time being. I would also like to ask that you don't give her, the other admins, staff team, or any sort of abuse in both chats and DMs. We worked for this company, we didn't own it, and we didn't make the decisions that led us here. Again, saying, we wanted the server to go well, we thought it was, but apparently it's not our decision. And then thank you guys so much for the wonderful years. I wish you all the best of luck in the future, whatever you end up doing, and come say hi once in a while. They want to turn the server into some form of memorial for what it used to be. They want to have some recollection of people's time, because if you look, anywhere in the Discord or online, you'll find a ton of people being like, yes, I spent my money on Mineplex ranks, only for it to go into almost no development for the next few years, followed by, now their ranks mean mean nothing. And this is ultimately probably a big part of why they didn't do an official goodbye. It sounds as though this server has been very money motivated for quite some time, and if you want proof of that, just remember the map Extreme Skyblock. I've ranked this as one of the worst marketplace maps full time that sells for 990 Minecoins was by, you guessed it, Mineplex. And if you want even more proof than that, bear in mind Mineplex was one of the servers that got in trouble with the original Notch Euler issue from 2014, one of the very reasons that Notch sold Minecraft, funnily enough. But like, if you go back to that time, they were one of the few servers that were breaking the rules regarding pay-to-win items. You couldn't operate a Minecraft server and have items which would allow people to do better in combat. They threw a very big pissy fit at the time, being like, oh, what do you mean we can't sell people things that are, you know, like add microtransactions to the game? And then following that up, the Java server went through its decline. They started the Bedrock server, basically after, you know, like going through a big issue of saying, oh, we don't want to have Mojang tell us what to do. Then they signed up to the Minecraft Bedrock server program to become an official server where Minecraft gets to tell you exactly what to do, and you agree to give Microsoft a cut. Every one of these featured servers, previously including Mineplex, gives Microsoft a presumed 30% cut. We don't actually know the exact percentages, but presumably it's at least 30% because that's how Minecoins work. And then in exchange, people can buy stuff on their servers using Minecoins, and also it shows up on everyone's devices, Xboxes, phones, etc. included. So this is a big deal that they then signed up to, and then they ran a server based on this, which just existed until it didn't. And to me, this is the most blatant, you know, again, if you look at this brief history of they started on Java until that became less profitable for them, then they moved to Bedrock where they started making cookie cutter maps using their branding to start selling stuff, because a lot of YouTubers, Captain Sparkles is a famous example, partnered with the server back in the day. People see Mineplex as being a high-end server, you know, being like a classy one, like a classic one you want to be associated with, so they sell garbage, then they start becoming a Bedrock server. They kind of, you know, do the bare minimum to keep things alive. They don't actually really keep things fresh regarding game modes. So players go down and they go, oh, I guess this isn't profitable, and instead of doing any official announcement, the bare minimum they could have put on in terms of time or money, keeping the server alive for an extra month with no purchases. And I really want to stress just how it is of them to do this with no warning whatsoever. Let me give you a whole host of options you could have if you're the owner of Mineplex, a presumed seven-figure, you know, generating over the years company. Here are some options you would have had.
Look, it's me, the owner of Mineplex, and I'm a silly goose, but I understand that even though I'm shutting down my company without giving it to someone else and making sure that they can keep the server alive and maybe help the players, but I do have some good ideas that I'm totally going to implement because I'm not a money-obsessed idiot who is clearly not communicating with the players that made me successful. Okay, option number one. I'm going to run the server for a month and tell people it's going to close so they can make the most from their ranks. I'm going to turn off purchases for this time just so that people can really get the best out of the server. Wow, option two, I'm going to refund people because they probably made purchases in the last 30 days that they'll now get no value from. Option number three, I don't do any of those things because I'm heartless and I don't have money, or maybe it's operating at a loss. Maybe the hundreds of thousands of copies I sold of Extreme Skyblock, a map that cost me billions of dollars to make. It looks so good, right? But, oh wow, this map just cost me so much money and I can't afford any of those options, or I don't want to afford those options. I'll be honest, I don't like spending money I don't have to. And so I'm going to give the server and the database and the website over to the people running it. But no, I didn't do any of those things because I'm a silly goose. This is presumably what the Mineplex CEO looks like.
More seriously though, I know for some people this is just one of your many server options going down. If I'm being honest, that's mostly what it is for me. I haven't really wanted to play the servers in some years, but there were hundreds of loyal players playing right until the end, and they could have done a much better job for those people. And honestly, I would say Minecraft as a whole, this is an opportunity where you can step in. You are taking a cut on each of these sales. Use that to refund people who have paid in the last X amount of time. You should be, you know, like honestly, the punishment for having a server that goes no contact with no explanation, no warning, should not just be, oh, we'll remove you from the featured server list. It should be that some of that money that you have taken, you know, like for the last like few days of sales, you should be refunding those people, whether it's out of your pocket or Mineplex's. If I was Mojang, I would be doing that as the bare minimum because people trust these servers as they're built into the game. And if they're going to betray their confidence, it's first of all a real bummer, but second of all makes you realize that any server might as well let you add it to there in the game. You don't have to be so protective of the servers if you're not going to perfectly do the job. And no one could have predicted Mineplex was going to fall. I mean, outside of all the charts we've showed up. But I also do think that this is something that Mojang is taking on as the risk in exchange for building it into the game. Obviously, that's more of a pipe dream. Getting a multi-billion-dollar company to act on what you want is kind of tricky. But for Mineplex, I feel like we expected better, and it's a shame they didn't deliver. Anyway, this is a channel where I obviously am willing to talk the truth, even if it's inconvenient, and a lot of YouTubers try to avoid talking about, negative about server owners, and especially Mojang, just because of all the fears around what happens to them if they do so. However, I think that personally the truth is more important than, being worried about biting the hands that feeds you. And so that is something we'll do here on this channel because I believe the truth is super important. Also, just as an example of this, like Minecraft Earth died, this whole amazing open, game that was a competitor to Pokemon Go, and it looks like they've repurposed the shell of its corpse to make this Minecraft X Croc ad. And if you have those Crocs, you can apparently play these games inside of Minecraft, and it's just so painful to see what they did to what was ultimately a really fun game. But it is worth saying that this does show, if nothing else, this little ad here does show the the flexibility of the Minecraft Bedrock engine. Minecraft Bedrock can be just Minecraft, or it can be these servers, or it can be the entirety of Minecraft Legends, or it can be an ad for Minecraft Crocs. And isn't that beautiful? But like the opposite of beautiful? Yeah, with that said, I hope you'll enjoy this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I want to give just a tiny pre-announcement for something I think we're going to do. I want to answer your big questions about 1.20. Lots of people want to know, like, how do you do sniffers and how do you do these sorts of things? And I figure, why don't I make a Q&A Saturday that is devolved to answering these questions with actual gameplay and all the actual in-depth stuff, but as concisely as and importantly as possible. That is going to be tricky, but it's something that is coming up soon. Q&A Saturday, but it's your biggest 1.20 questions. So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you for what might be the biggest Q&A Saturday yet. It's either going to be this week or next week. We're working on it right now. It's going to be a lot of a challenge, but I'm looking forward to having answered all of your questions in the most concise way possible, hopefully. Anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye.
What do I sound like? Can you probably hear? You might have to do subtitles for this, and I know that's probably hard.